Anyway, I'm Nate. That is Brandon.
Hi guys, I'm Thyst.
Hey.
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 Hey. How's it going?
Wow, that's like every person I've ever met.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the show's pretty casual, pretty laid back. We'll talk about whatever, and then I assume that classic WoW will take up a good portion of the conversation.
Sure.
Especially where we have all of these people who don't know what classic WoW is that are calling bugs, and they're not really bugs. Did you read that?
I knew that was going to happen.
Did you read the article about like, things are spawning so slowly, and like someone was complaining on Twitter asking why hunters have consumable ammo now? I'm like, yeah, this is what you guys wanted.
Yep.
I did it 14 years ago. I have no interest in doing it now.
Almost 15 now.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
'Tis crazy. I miss it every once in a while.
I mean, yeah, I guess I did. Kind of. Anyway, we should save this for the show.
Yeah, that's fine. What are we at for time? 53? Yeah, we got a couple minutes anyway. Show title's all set up. Yeah, so other than that, like I said, so we'll cut it. You said like hour and a half max, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Yeah, so we'll make sure we're done by then. I was listening to, I don't know what it was. It wasn't the podcast proper. It was, I don't know, whatever you guys were on there live a few nights ago, and you were talking about someone having a fetish for red balloons or balloons in general. Do you remember that conversation?
Oh, yeah.
Something about blowing up balloons, and I think...
Yeah.
So I thought it would be funny to have a balloon. Alas, I don't have a balloon.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, if you want to talk about balloon fetishes, I'm down. Is this, am I watching my language? Or...
No, definitely not.
No, you're good.
Excellent, so I can be myself. That's nice.
We don't keep things edited.
That's good. I like that.
We have some episodes. Choice. We have some episodes where like half the episode would be bleeps if we tried to edit them.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of people who ask us to bleep stuff, and we just don't want to.
There are shows for that. Like, I understand. It's no different than when you stream on any of the streaming platforms. Like, if you mark your channel for mature audiences, like, you're going to lose a lot of your viewers.
Yep.
But I mean, like, that's the difference. I mean, depending on the guest, like, what was it, like almost 2 years ago now, Brandon, right? That we had Scott on.
Yeah.
So like when we had Scott Johnson on, like we toned it down because that's not his style. So
yeah, except that it is secretly and nobody knows. Oh my God, he is such a troll.
Yeah, no, he really is. But I know he does. He tries to keep the language to a minimum on his shows.
I know, it's so funny. That's what I thought Pat Crane was like too, until I became his best friend, and it's not true. He's not family friendly. It's a ruse.
So every time it seems like you make him uncomfortable, that's not true.
Right.
Pete Master is saying that my face isn't family friendly. So you can't see it right now because my splash screen's up, but I'm flipping you off. If you do want to partake in the chat, presuming that it's active, sometimes it's active, sometimes it's a little dead, depends on the night. It's just Inked Geek Studios on Twitch.
I know. I've already sent it out on all my socials.
Oh, you rock.
Hey man, I've been doing this for a while.
Cool.
Yeah, but sorry I had to put a hard stop on. It's just all my guildies are going to be on, and
no, that's fine. I get it.
It's in your best interest, or else you'd be
here
for 5 hours.
Yeah,
we had a problem ending the show.
Yeah, it's hard, especially with like repeat guests that we become comfortable with, and then we just end up talking for a while.
I get you.
I think our longest episode is 5 hours and 40 minutes.
It's over 5 hours.
Yeah, it's 5:40.
That's too much.
That was that was a long one.
It was painful, very painful.
Well, the longer they are, usually it hurts more, but it's worth it, isn't it?
Well, that was yeah, Beat. We're calling JF out already.
I mean, the tip was a little bloody, but
yeah.
That's what happens when you go balls deep into a show, right?
Apparently. Off the rails. Maybe we should
know just a little too much about that, don't you?
Just a little.
I am keeping anything to myself. Hold on. Do I have Xavier's bumper on here? I do. Maybe. Wrong button.
Okay, that's great and all, but we were talking about going balls deep, and that makes you think of your son.
No, I was getting ready to start the
That's so
show.
weird. That's so weird.
I was getting ready to start the show, so I was making sure I put his bumper because we were.
Ah.
Yeah, and besides, that's fitting. He can laugh maniacally to that.
I mean, I guess that's the end result of, but
Yes,
okay.
if you're not careful,
Right.
it's a symptom of going balls deep.
Yeah, I should know. I've got 3.
Oh Jesus!
Wow, you've been balls deep 3 times. It's amazing.
Hey, it's proof that I've had sex at least 3 times.
Hey, congratulations, man.
All right. I suppose at this point we should make this official.
Oh, you've got 2 minutes. Why rush?
Yeah, you
'Cause
should
we're
totally.
Because we're usually like 15 minutes late, and we're already live, so it's not like everyone's not already hearing this. Beatmaster himself. How appropriate we're having this conversation with Beatmaster and
Steve, if you're
Thyst.
watching this, I hear you, and I will join you afterward. Even though I've ignored you all day, I've had a busy day. But after this,
wait, what's going on?
Some Dark Souls. Steve.
Oh, fuck Steve and his Dark Souls.
No, don't say that.
No,
We'll
I
play
will
Dark
say
Souls in an hour.
No, you'll play Division.
What are you doing after this?
Playing Division?
You want me to come over?
Sure, come over.
Oh, that was easy.
I'm simple.
You guys should be playing WoW. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
I would if I had a guild to play with. Do you need a paladin tank?
No.
Yeah, see?
You don't need a guild. I was guildless until like 2009.
No, I hate being guildless.
Dude, I straight up play solo, so.
Yeah, you play
Yeah.
solo.
Lone wolf, man.
See, that's the problem.
It's mostly because I
With
don't
the
have the time to invest.
That's the problem with the fact of them making tanks easier, is that now everyone's a tank. So there's too many of us.
That's fine. I don't mind. More tanks, more heals. I'm not gonna go tanks or heals because I like to be range DPS and do the bare minimum, but I appreciate when other people.
Yeah, see, I don't know, I get just, part of it's that I get bored and part of it's that I can't do it. I never pull the numbers anybody else does, but I will tank like a motherfucker.
Well,
I've
then
been
you're
pally tanking
good.
since pally tanking sucked in BC. I was not
If
a
you really
paladin.
want to be appreciated, go tank or heals and random BGs. People will love you. I will love you. Please just do it.
In random what?
Random BGs.
Oh, Battleground? I don't PvP.
Why?
Because I don't enjoy it.
Why?
I don't like gear-based PvP.
I mean,
Okay, just wait and start the show before
We'll start the show. All right. Official. In 3, 2, 1. The following radio program you're about to listen to is provided to you, the listener, by Inked Geek Studios. Get this and other great shows at inkedgeekstudios.com. There we go. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mind of a Geek. I am your host, Nate, and I am joined, as always, by Brendan.
Off to a great start, as always.
I know.
What's going
Well,
on, man?
I love these Yetis, man, but that little mute button doesn't always want to respond
Here's
to
the trick.
touch.
Don't push it straight on. Push it kind of sideways, you know?
So tweak it like a nipple.
Just well, no, rub it like a clit, you know? Just a little sideways.
Jesus Christ.
Gentle.
Oh,
So you've got me back again, live from my
I
mother's-
do, and every week you make me wonder why. No, I'm kidding.
Don't twist my arm. That's fine.
I do have you, and we have a new guest for the first time this season. There's been a lot of recurring guests this season.
First time in a while.
For the first time in a while, yeah. It's been friends and otherwise, but not saying that this guest is not possibly a friend. But anyway, from the Lagging Balls podcast, as well as Convert to Raid, right? Yes. All right. With Mr. John Jagger, I would like to welcome Thyst to the podcast. Thyst, how's it going?
hey guys, what's up?
Oh, you know, another weekend is here, another night of podcasting. And I'm excited because you're a WoW player, so we get to talk WoW tonight, and I haven't done that
Well, you
in a
two
long
get to
time.
talk. Wow, I get to interject.
With what? Interjections?
He's a
Touche.
well, yeah.
I got
Fair
it.
weather. Fair weather.
He's an alliance player.
You're a Fairweather WoW Alliance player in your mom's basement. I'm not surprised.
It's true. It's true.
Wow. Yeah, no, I give him crap all the time because I've been Horde for 14 years.
Good,
And
so
it's-
have I.
Right. See, there you go. What is your main?
Right now I'm maining a Blood Elf Fire Mage.
Nice. Blood Elf Paladin.
Well, at least you're a mage.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so you
I'm
guys
an
have that.
Archmage.
You guys have that in common.
Excellent. I love going up against Alliance mages, ganking them, proving my better than them. Oh, when you do a twos with another mage, I'll just go after the mage. Like all rules out the window. I have to prove myself. I hate other mages.
See, now you had asked me before you had mentioned before we officially started the whole like Q as tank and random BGs, and I had said that I don't PvP. So now that we've officially started, we can kind of continue that conversation and just kind of roll with WoW for a little while. But yeah, so what I was saying was I don't necessarily like gear-based PvP. Like I don't like I'll play MOBAs, I'll play Call of Duty, things like that. But it was always needing to farm that particular gear. Like I want the outcome of the PvP to be purely based around the skill. And I know there's a lot of skill to it, but I didn't want to have to grind out gear to be able to compete. You know what I mean?
I definitely understand that. I think people like you, PvP players like you, had to sacrifice a little bit to allow PvE players to become acclimated to PvP. I was one of those. I used to be PvE only. I still raid like 6 to 8 hours a week, and it it just sort of opened the door a little bit because I never had time to do PvP before, and it was always, there's a lot of things in WoW that you can put on the back burner, pet battles, RP, etc. And that was one of those things for me. And when they made it gear based, I felt like, I'm already working towards being good at this. Why don't I try it? And I did. And of course, you can't just walk into a skirmish or a BG and be good at it just because you've got a lot of gear. Like certainly it'll help you out, but there's a lot more to learn. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways to get good gear through PvP. It's not just a PvE thing. So if you don't raid, if you don't push keys, you can still get gear. And I think WoW is dabbling in a lot of different ways to allow people to get gear, I don't know, quests, world quests, dailies,
Yeah, they're trash
island
epics.
expeditions, just there's all sorts of things. So
Right.
I don't know. I think I understand where you're coming from, but I think it was something that was necessary to make PvP more of a thing for PvE exclusive people. But that being said, like I found out, you can't just stroll into a BG with good gear and expect to do well. So
Right. Yeah, it's a much different element for like from going from algorithm based boss mechanics to a player that can do whatever. Granted, players can be predictable, so like, good rogues will typically act similar because they have the similar strategy.
True.
But it's a totally different beast.
Mhm.
And partly probably maybe just because I sucked at it.
I mean, it is hard to do something if you suck.
It is.
While
And
you're
the
sucking.
and the PvP community is pretty trashy. And they always think they're better than PvE players when most of them can't PvE themselves.
I mean,
So
I'm
it's
not
that
going to
back and
touch
forth.
that, but
Right. No, that's fine. You don't have to, but it was always in the forums, and that always turned me off. It was the same reason that I would never have a desire to play League of Legends because the community is just toxic as shit.
oh yeah, you can always
Right.
tell when somebody spent an afternoon playing League and then they come like logging into Warcraft and they're just really tilted. And it's like, were you just playing League? And they're like, yes. Why?
Because it's clear. Your rage is showing. Put it away.
Yeah.
So with this passion for WoW, you have your podcast, Lagging Balls. Do you want to give a little gist of that for those that might not be familiar?
Just a little gist, because once I start gisting, it just keeps going.
Go with a lot of gist. That works too.
Yeah. Shield your eyes.
A relevant
already.
a relevant amount of gist.
Yeah, get the Just towel ready. I know it's a little bit crusty at this point. Sure. So lagging balls.
I just washed mine. It's fine.
You don't wash it.
Some gist from Thyst.
Dude, it's not a flavor saver. I have a beard. I'm gonna wash the towel.
I'm just saying, the crustier the towel, like I don't know, the more
I
clout
don't
you
want it
get.
to
it's
stand
like-
up
is
and
that
walk
like
away.
is that like scratches and dents on a truck?
Look,
Pretty
it's
much.
Is it
look,
like a
see,
sign of pride?
It's not alive. It's fine.
Oh wow, was it that color originally, or?
No, definitely not.
That was white.
Oh wow, I'm really proud of you.
It's a nice orc green, you know.
what's
It
that
is very
supposed to mean?
orc green.
Have you guys seen that on Reddit? That shoebox, the shoebox on Reddit. There's this dude, and he was like concluding one day, and he didn't have anything to conclude into, so he used this shoebox, and then he just kept using it.
So
and
it's
he-
like Stimpy's nose goblin collection,
Exactly.
Hold on,
exactly
hold
right.
on. I'm still focused
but
on the
it's,
fact
it's
that
a
you called it
box of number
concluding.
3. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So then it started to smell weird and grow mold. So he tried to light it on fire, but it wouldn't light because it was so damp. So after that, he just kept using it, and then he uploaded a picture of it to Reddit, and now it's like one of those Reddit legends.
Oh,
So we can all agree that, like,
that's
all right,
disgusting.
in
Yes.
your guys' opinion, what does it smell like to you?
I mean, what would it smell like? I feel like it would be like kind of earthy,
Is that the question of the week?
Well, right, but real
Tweet
life
at us. What
question,
does it smell like?
In your experience, what does it smell like?
Honestly, if it
I was
has any
mostly
smell at
asking
all,
Nate, but
it's probably not good. He doesn't look like the shoebox type of guy. He looks like a sock kind of guy. It's like
I
you're
think-
usually wearing them, right? You just pull it off.
I think it's a right on the floor kind of guy for him.
Really?
No.
You guys are uncivilized. You
I
gotta
am
have
not a
Kleenex like
beast.
readily available.
What is this, you guys? I just showed you a towel.
That's true.
All right,
Anyway.
well that's right off the rails. Great.
Um,
That's what I'm here for.
Who
What were we
wants to
talking
take
about?
it? Your podcast.
oh, right.
Shoeboxing. That's what we were talking about.
Shoeboxing. Got
Just
it.
gisting in a
no, my
shoebox.
my
Wait,
show
hold
is called-
on. In the chat room, Beatmaster says it smells like despair.
Of course it would be Beatmaster.
All right, proceed. Sorry.
Now that I've spit all over my laptop, go ahead.
Sure. So, Lagging Balls is my show. It started almost 4 years ago at this point. It's our like anniversary in a couple days next week, actually. Anyway, 4 years ago, it's sort of a general Blizzard podcast focusing mostly on WoW and Overwatch. We don't really focus on StarCraft because we're not smart enough to talk about it at length. We try to cover a lot of esports. I'm just really into Blizzard esports. And it's just full of dick and fart jokes. It's all very positive. We love Blizzard. We're just, I don't know. We've always been really, really big into Blizz, and with everything going on, we've just tried to power through all of that and stay positive, and it's really working out in our favor at this point. But yeah, no, we just we try to talk about Blizz stuff every week, but mostly we just talk about dick and fart jokes.
That's perfect. So
Yeah.
my exposure to you has only been through Convert to Raid.
Yes,
So
I'm
I've
also
never heard Lagging
on-
Balls.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. I'm also on Convert to Raid every week. It's also about Blizzard stuff in general. It's just a little bit more family friendly, but I'm slowly, taking care of that.
Yeah, it seems like you make sure that
if
it's
you
not quite
if you
PG.
can make John Jagger not family friendly on a microphone, that would be impressive.
Hey man, I don't know. I just have a knack for it, I guess.
Because I've spoken to him off of mic, like I've Nerdtacular and stuff, and he can be a blue dude, but I don't think I've ever heard him not be G rated, or at least PG rated.
That's the thing about podcasting. It's like once you put your show on iTunes, you have to make a choice. Like, do I flag this as adult content or don't I? Like, what? Like, because you
Right.
know that if you flag it, you're going to be losing listeners, closing your show off to some people. Some people aren't even going to give you a chance just because they don't want to deal with swears. I guess I don't know. But once you make that choice, it's kind of just who you are, and it's I don't know, just like your publicly outward facing personality is family friendly, and then people get this idea about you, and then when you meet all these people like at BlizzCon or whatever, it's weird. Like the first time I met I don't know, the Blizzard podcasting community at large, everybody was swearing and making dick jokes, and I'm like, I thought I was unique, but apparently not. Everybody's like this.
Well, Nate, it's good that we're
You're
true
just
to
willing to
ourselves
put it
from the
out there.
get-go.
Right? Yeah, no, I don't watch my language. It's not for that.
I thought that I was pretty bad, but yeah, you definitely don't watch your language. On the day-to-day outside of this, yeah, you're way worse than me.
Yeah, because I don't
You
even.
have no tact as to where and when to swear or not to swear.
You mean when I made that joke about calling my mother a cunt on Mother's Day?
Yeah. I mean,
I saw
really classes everything up.
I saw it, right. I saw a meme, and my mom understands my sense of humor.
Knowing you, that's okay, but for the rest of the uninitiated here,
yeah, they don't know. Yeah,
it's like what?
But there was a meme, and it said "Happy Mother's Day, you cunt," and I was like this close to sending it to my mom.
Right. Whereas that would never ever occur. Your
mom would murder you.
Right. But I wouldn't do that anyway. That's.
That sucks. My mom's pretty cool. Every year I send her Mother Lover by Lonely Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it. Because every
one of
Mother's
Timberlake's
Day needs
best
a Mother's
songs.
Night.
That's different though. You want your mother to be lubed up. That's fine. Everybody deserves to be happy.
Hell yeah. Like if a hot
But if your
younger
son
dude...
called you a cunt? Happy Mother's Day.
Well, I was even slightly inappropriate because I know that, especially having a female guest on, I know some of you hate that word, and some of you don't care.
They only hate that word because they're mothers.
I only hate it because people started using it for shock value, and then it kind of just...
I use it because of the Brits.
I use it, yeah. I mean, I listen
and
to
the
a lot
Aussies.
I listen to a lot of British and Australian comedy. So that's where I get a lot of it from. And then I use it because somebody had asked me, why do you use that word? And I said, because fuck doesn't mean anything anymore. And they were like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, because...
Well, that literally means you're using it for shock value.
Well, no, I'm using it in place of fuck. Because fuck is irrelevant. Well, no, because fuck doesn't have the emphasis.
Anybody, ergo you're using it for shock.
Okay, maybe. But fuck doesn't provide the emphasis anymore.
You're making the argument to prove my point. Thank you.
He's got you, dude.
I always got him. Don't worry.
Yeah, but you know me. Everything is for shock. You know, I was going to say the same thing, and I'm like, maybe I'm not going to go there. We've been best friends for like 17 years. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you been like more than that in the past 17 years, or is it just strictly platonic?
No, but he's really helped me with girls, though.
Oh yeah.
He just has to tell everybody about my size. So.
That's nice. Does he ever dress up like a woman? Help you out?
Okay, wait, pause. Have you ever seen Pink Flamingos?
No. Wait, like the actual bird?
No, the movie.
What would have been great is if you had said yes and thought he was talking about the bird.
And then look at Nate.
Oh, really? You've got a drag doppelganger?
Oh, wait. We need like a holding drop.
We do? Do I have one?
I'll be falcon your ass later. That works.
Where is it? I suppose that is appropriate, isn't it? Here we go.
I don't want to eat the dick.
I mean, I see it. That's cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought that for 20 years. That's why I stuck around. Can we get back to WoW now?
Somebody told me that I look like a cat whisperer. There's a cat whisperer that's on TV. I guess I kind of look like him.
My nana loves him.
Is that Caesar?
I don't know.
No, his name is Jackson Galaxy. He's actually pretty cool.
Oh, I know who it is. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, somebody at wrestling told me that I look like him, and then Aiden Agro said, "Yeah, I see it."
That was a weird place to get that comment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Teddy Hart's daughter, and she'd only mentioned it because Teddy Hart had all of his cats there. So
out of context, that's so fucked up.
Right? Do you do wrestling at all?
Me?
Yeah.
No, but my friend took me to do jujitsu the other week. It was fun. I'd never done anything before.
You never jujitsu'd before?
I never
my kids did
jujitsu
karate
at all.
She never jujitsu.
Yeah, no, he's this really cool dude. He works at MLG and he's like always doing jujitsu, and he's like, you should do it. And I'm like, okay. So I went and they were like teaching me how to do it. And like to teach somebody how to jujitsu, you have to literally just get on top of them and like squeeze the life out of them and like, wrestle up all your arms and stuff and like choke you out. It was
You got to
great.
Jew out all that jitsu. Huh?
Exactly. I jitsued everywhere.
You're quick on your feet. That's
Man,
nice.
there are so many great titles for
You're welcome.
The one I came up with is horrible. I had originally named it a little bit of Thyst, a little bit of that, because it was a whole Fat Boy Slim
That's
weapon of
cute.
choice. But now there's so
Is
many
that-
better ones because now I jujitsu'd everywhere.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can figure it out at the end. I'm sure there'll be a lot of things to choose from.
I'm sure there will be. So, yeah, we'll bring it back to WoW for a second until the next tangent brings us off. You had mentioned powering through everything that's going on. So it's funny because Brandon and I briefly had a conversation last night. So I have been not just a WoW guy, but a Blizzard guy since the early 90s. Like I played the original Warcraft in 94. So, so I've always loved, like, they've been like my games. Like if Blizzard made the version of something, I was going to play it. No matter how better the other ARPGs were, I'm playing Diablo. And whatever, like there are other ones, they're the best anyway, or at least they were for a while. And then Overwatch came out and just but with everything that's going on and with the negative reception of Battle for Azeroth, and then obviously what happened with Diablo and the whole phones debacle, and now with what seems to be a mixed reception of the beta of WoW Classic, like, do you feel like Blizzard is coming to the table with as much like oomph as they've had in years past, or do you think that the changing of the guard, as well as seemingly Activision having their grip a little bit tighter on the company, like, do you think that's having the effect that like the negativity on social media would like you to think that they do, if I can talk?
I think that Blizz just got too big. Blizzard has always been charming because not only did they put out great things, great games, great content, great franchises, but they were always just small enough that it felt like we were all in on the Blizzard world. It was this, it seemed like, although it was a huge company, it seemed like an indie company. They were, and they still are, like, always reaching out to the average player, allowing us to give our opinions freely, which usually isn't the best idea, but there it is.
Right.
Always addressing things that come up, always addressing their own mistakes and taking steps to correct them publicly. And it always just felt like Blizz always went the extra mile to make us feel super involved. And so when, Mike Morheim said that he was leaving, and, in the wake of Metzen leaving and everything, that felt weird. And then everything that happened after that with last year's BlizzCon, and, that didn't go excellently as far as announcements went. The esports was wonderful, but
Right.
the rest of it was a little subpar compared to every other year. And just, with Jab coming into control and Activision sort of, wielding a bigger fist than they had been. And then all of the changes that had to be made, and the all the people that had to be let go, and all of the esports that had to be let go, and just everything that happened. I honestly feel like some of it, while necessary, wasn't necessarily handled publicly the best way it should have been. But I believe that everything that Blizzard has gone through in the past couple of months was necessary, because it is, at the end of the day, and I hate using that, ultimately, Blizzard is a massive company. Blizzard is a giant, huge company. And I hate to do this, but, think about Walmart. Nobody cares when, I was going to say game director of Walmart. That doesn't make any sense. Nobody cares when the president of Walmart changes over. Nobody cares when people care when Walmart lets people go, but you know, that sort of stuff doesn't have a personal effect on you unless you worked at Walmart or whatever. But
Right.
you know, most of us don't work at Blizzard, but everything that's happening with Blizzard that seems wrong feels personal. And you know, that plus a company coming into its own and being massive and giant and making all these necessary changes that a normal business would is harmful. It's like when actors, actresses, and directors and people involved with film and television and music, when bad stuff happens to them, we take it personally because the stuff that they're putting out becomes we become emotionally attached to it, and that's what Blizzard has been doing all these years. They've made us feel like we're a part of them, and we became a part of Blizzard, and now Blizzard's big and things are happening and sucks. So that all being said, the past couple months have been really tough, especially for Blizzard lovers and especially for people who did work at Blizzard and had to leave, of course. But I think that Blizzard is finally starting to even out a little bit, heading in the right direction. And I know that this year's BlizzCon is going to be ridiculously huge and amazing. And I think that I believe that it's going to make up for everything.
I hope so. I mean, I really did this. So I've been to one. I went in 2014 for WoW's 10-year anniversary, and it was fun. But I didn't spend a lot of time at the convention. Like, it was mostly like at all the different gatherings. Like, I was in like the Frog Pants AIE Guild Hall for a while, and because I knew I could just watch it on the virtual ticket later.
Of course.
And then this past year was actually the first time since the inception of the virtual ticket where I didn't even bother ordering the virtual ticket. Like, I had no pull to get it at all. Like, there was no mount. There was no, like, the in-game rewards weren't all that spectacular compared to years prior. Or there was no Murloc pet, I think is what it was. Yeah, there were things that changed. And then I don't know. I didn't feel a draw. Like, Battle for Azeroth had lost its luster for me. And Diablo is the same game after almost
gone. I don't have to worry about virtual tickets. I don't hate Battle for Azeroth because I barely play it, right?
Right.
I don't deep dive, so I haven't done all the content. What I have done has been great. I've had a lot of fun. I'm there for the lore that I get and the solo gameplay. I don't have to worry about trolls. I don't have to worry about being somewhere for a guild. I can hop in. I can enjoy the world. I can hop out. That's where I'm at. I just
see, and that's a great perspective because
it's nice that nostalgia is a thing and you're invested. I understand that.
Right.
That doesn't happen to me for Walmart, but it happens with movies for sure. Let's talk about Star Wars.
Oh God.
Let's talk about Last Jedi. What the fuck?
No,
we don't
let's
need
not.
to do that.
We don't.
No, we're not going to do that. I spent all of last year doing that. We're not going to do that. But it's true. But regardless, like, WoW is great. Even Diablo, after all this time, is still great for me because I mostly just hop in on new seasons when you hop in. Outside of that, it's, you know, I'm going to play something else. I'm in Diablo for the experience with you, basically. But for yeah, it's sweet, right? I'm a nice guy. But for WoW, yeah, I mean, I love WoW, but I haven't become such a fan, and I haven't been there for the whole time, so it's not that big a deal for me. And as for the company, whatever they're gonna do, that's fine. The game is there for me.
Okay, I like that. I don't often hear perspectives like that. It's usually just
No, I didn't think that you did. Listening to this,
it's the hardcores. It's the
yeah.
no-lifers.
I'm almost strictly friends with
I'm not
hardcore
at a
people
level.
People who don't play at all.
Right. Well, it's okay. I'm not at a level where I call Blizzard Blizz either, which is unique to you guys. I've never heard that before.
Really?
No, I had never heard anybody call Blizzard Blizz until Convert to Raid.
Well, I mean, it's BlizzCon.
I get it, but in the 4 years that you and I have podcasted, considering all the fucking
I don't call it
WoW
Blizz,
done,
but I don't really shorten
nobody
names
has called
much.
Blizzard Blizz.
Yeah.
Except them.
Well, cool. That's their thing.
That's all. I don't know. That's some random aside.
We've got a deep personal relationship with Blizzard. I don't know if you know.
They go balls deep with Blizzard.
Oh yes.
I mean, Pillow Talk, right? You can call them Blizz. It's fine.
Yeah. Hey Blizz. How you doing? I've touched it. I touched it a bunch.
I can see you caressing the proverbial cheek.
But anyway, that is something that is a perspective that's unique. That because I mean, I haven't played a video game casually.
Do you think it's unique though, or do you think it's the majority of people?
It's unique to social circles of
I think
gamers
it's the
like mine
majority
and
of people who
hers.
don't also podcast about WoW. I
Um,
think most people
no,
play their game and then it's whatever.
well,
It's
anyone
I think the minority is you guys.
these days,
Um,
I don't know if I'd say, well, I mean, technically minority because lower percent, but I would say I think the hardcore population is dwindling or at least leaning more towards casual. I would say
I
there's
mean, we're
definitely
not
aren't
living in a
as
world where
many.
South Park makes an episode about WoW anymore. That's for sure. But
Yeah. I don't know. What's your thought on that?
um, I really don't know. It's it's hard for me to speak on this because I'm so heavily into the community and
yeah,
not
you're
just the
steeped in the community. You can't have a perspective outside of that. So
yeah, so I
Yeah.
can't really speak to it. But I don't know. Just well from where I'm standing, like so deep in the Blizzard community, not just the WoW community, but the Blizz community. We've been taking it really hard lately, and I don't know. It's interesting because when you're in the Blizzard community, it's sort of a mix of hardcores and casuals who still care enough to be in the community. And then there's the other side of the community that, while they love to play the games and stuff, uh, they're the ones who are going on the forums complaining. And it's interesting because they feel just as strongly about everything as the pro Blizzard people do, but instead of like just getting sad and emotional and looking for the positives in bad situations, they'll just go to the forums and trash Blizzard. And it's weird. It really comes down to just like how you are as a person and how you deal with your emotions. It's like, oh, this thing is happening in game that I don't like. I better, give Blizzard some constructive feedback, or go onto Twitter and talk about it with my friends, and just hope that it gets fixed and trust in Blizz. But then there's other people who get personally offended when something in the game doesn't work to their liking, and so they'll go to the forum and they think that they're giving constructive criticism, but what they're really doing is just making things worse. So but yeah, that's what I'm dealing with.
The only thing I've been personally offended by is the fact that they're making Sylvanas a bad guy. I'm so pissed.
Well, she's not a bad guy.
No, but they're trying to
Uh,
frame her out to be, and Bloodhoof should be put to death for being a traitor to the Horde.
wow.
I am a Sylvanas lover. I was so
Yeah.
happy when she burned down the tree because screw the Alliance.
yeah, I didn't care for that.
And they're like, but there's young night elves in there. I'm like, night elves live for hundreds of years. They're all potentially warriors. Kill them all.
Well, to be fair, they're all about 15 years old and playing in their mom's basement. So maybe it was for the best. Night elves.
That's probably true.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so and not only that, but the whole like they're recycling this whole like we're gonna kill the war chief storyline again. Now again, I just know the outside in. I don't know all the nitty gritties because I've kind of stepped away when I approached that mission and you had to like choose to betray Sylvanas and it was like a yes or no, like you had to make the choice. I don't know.
All I care about is the Kirin Tor. So I mean,
See,
none of
I
that
don't-
matters to me at all.
I don't care if she's not the war
All I
chief,
care
though
about is being a mage and walking through the world. Let me
Yeah, I
wander
understand
the
that.
earth with magic. It's fine.
See, I want the story. Like I've loved Sylvanas.
I love the story, but in terms of gameplay, I just want to cast spells and kill things.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Have you heard this rumor that, and I don't know what the weight or where it even originated, but I've read it a couple places that there are talks about it going to 3 factions with the next expansion pack and having Sylvanas be the leader of the 3rd faction?
That's been a rumor for 15 years almost.
Well,
Yeah, that's something we've definitely talked about over and over and over.
Well,
again.
right, but I mean now with like the whole like the orcs stepping up again and Sylvanas kind of being outcasted. Because there's a,
No.
what was it? It was Dark Age of Camelot, right? That's the only other MMO that went 3 factions.
Yeah, I think. I don't think that there's ever going to be 3 factions. I think that I'm terrible at predictions, but what I know is that Sylvanas isn't a bad guy. Yes, she's being portrayed as one, but we have to sort of reflect on what has been happening outside of BFA and what has happened. And there's a giant sword sticking out of the earth. We're dealing with light and void. Light and void kind of reminds me of how it's Sylvanas is being portrayed in the storyline. It seems like she's evil, but she believes that she's doing the right thing for the Horde, and it's difficult to come to terms with that if you don't agree with her, because on the one hand, yes, we're supposed to kill the Alliance, but on the other hand, we're not supposed to be committing mass genocide like this because we have honor, or at least we did. So with being a Horde loyalist as I am and have always been, it's been really interesting and actually a lot of fun to me, because this storyline is evoking a lot of conflicting emotions in me IRL, and it's awesome. It's kind of made me reflect on why I love the Horde so much and why I want to be a part of the Horde. And I I recognize that there's a lot of history repeating itself right now, and now Thrall's coming back, and like, are we supposed to expect him to fix everything? I certainly hope so, but we don't know. And we can't forget Vol'jin appointing Sylvanas as war chief for some reason. Like, obviously, like, I want to believe that he knew what he was doing. Like, the Loas told him that she was the one who had to do it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he picked her because she is supposed to be the greatest war chief of all time. It might just mean that she has to go down this path and we have to go down with her or against her for some reason. I don't know if that means that we'll get a new war chief out of this, if Sylvanas is going to have to sacrifice herself for some reason, if she knows something that we don't, if she has to be bad so that Sarfang or Thrall or Talanji or whoever it is will stand up and finally we'll have a good leader of the Horde for at least 2 years. Like, that would be nice.
Right? 2 expansions would be wonderful.
Yeah, but bottom line, this red versus blue versus red again kind of thing is so compelling and so interesting. And we've got Azerite to think about and consider, and the Loa to think about and consider, and whatever the hell the Alliance is doing right now and what Jaina's going through to consider. And we're getting old gods. Like, there's so many variables right now, and like,
right.
Yes, like it almost seems like we're being debated a little bit, maybe because everybody's thinking, oh, Horde is bad again, wah, history is repeating itself again, wah. Like, could it be that Blizz is just building this up so we can get totally blindsided by something soon? Like, I think maybe, because we've got
the writing is on the wall. No,
I hope so. I really do, because there's like that passion that you just displayed in the last couple of minutes. Like, I miss having that.
IRL emotion.
I miss getting so passionate. Like, when I jumped so excitedly when he made Sylvanas war chief, because I was super pumped that it happened.
And it's amazing in a few years how you've gone from that to just this passive aggression for the game.
Yeah, or even going back further than that. Like, I remember the first time
we started, and I was uninitiated, so to speak.
Right.
And you talked with, say, Nineball about it like it was a real place.
Right.
That was enough allure for me to want to dive into the game.
Right.
And now everybody hate fucks it, so it's I'm already in. It doesn't matter. But.
I don't know. Like, I give a lot of people, like you mentioned Star Wars briefly, right? And we don't need to get into that.
No,
but
we don't need to get
the
into
reason
that.
I mention it is because you have all these people that are like hashtag not my Star Wars. And I give them shit for that, right? Like, you either like where the owners of the property have taken it, or you choose not to like it and you just casually admit, well, maybe I'm not a Star Wars fan anymore, and you move on. Well, that's kind of what
Or you just don't get that invested because it's a movie.
Right. Well, and I kind of went against my own advice, because that's kind of like what I did with WoW. I'm like, well, where's the WoW that I remember and love? And I'm not getting in. We're going to talk about Classic, but that's not really what I'm getting at, because I played back then and it's rose tinted glasses. But like, I miss beating ICC for the first time, right? And sitting in my chair and being almost in tears with the whole like Arthas and his father, because like I did that in Warcraft 3. Like, I've been there from the beginning with that whole thing, and I watched him, and then especially after reading the book and having that connection with the character, and you read about him growing up as a boy, and then through Warcraft 3 and or the book, you watch him go from Paladin to Death Knight to Lich King, and it's Star Wars. It's Anakin. But I mean, it was such a great character to connect with, to the point that I have a Frostmourne tattooed on my back. Like,
Whoa.
the Lich King is an awesome character, and that conflict within him, when you would hear him, when he would take the helmet off and talk as Arthas, and you would almost hear that conflict in his voice. Again, very similar to Anakin, where it was like that light side, dark side constantly battling within him.
My mic was muted, but that's what I was yelling about a second ago.
And I don't think, in my opinion, they have had a character that portrayed conflict that well since then. They've had great good characters and great bad characters, but I don't quite think that conflict has been displayed as powerfully since Arthas. Now, whether that's true or whether that's my Lich King fanboyism showing is a matter of opinion.
Sure.
But like, that's, to me, that was the pinnacle, and I think that's my connection with Sylvanas, because obviously Arthas made Sylvanas what she is now, from High Elf to Banshee Queen. So
sure. So I don't know. From where I'm standing, it seems like you really connect with characters like the Lich King and like Sylvanas, and
I like
that
that
hasn't
conflict.
really been present in WoW for you lately, and that's the problem.
Probably.
And I totally get that. Like, Thrall is my ultimate favorite character of all time. Like, I love him, and he's been gone for a really long time, and it's been hard to deal with. But I think with WoW, not just with lore, but with the whole game, you kind of have to, like, celebrate the things that you love most about it. Sure. Like, for me, it was PvE and raiding. I loved it. It was great. But there's all these other things in the world, in the lore, that you can learn to appreciate and enjoy. Like, I don't want to do pet battling. I don't care, But that's how I used to feel about PvP too, and now I love it to death. I can't not do it all the time, And with the lore, it's like, I wasn't super cool with what was happening with Sylvanas and her burning down the tree. Like, I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know how I felt about it. I did it, I went and did it happily because, I'm a member of the Horde. But how I felt afterwards, I was taken aback, and it took me a good couple of weeks to figure out how I felt, and I don't know. It just, WoW is so multifaceted in the lore, in the gameplay. It just gives you so much to work with and so much to appreciate. And sometimes you have to let go of what you are used to and what you're comfortable with and throw yourself into something else. And I just think that having a game that's big enough and old enough and has enough stuff in it to even be able to do that is amazing. I appreciate that. I love that. So I think that's where I'm coming from.
That makes sense. So the chat's been kind of going a little crazy, and we missed a little bit. Winchester says the problem with Sylvanas is that she doesn't understand empathy anymore. She just is. I don't even know if anymore is appropriate. Like, I don't think she's had empathy since she became a Banshee Queen. I mean, she's undead. And I mean, maybe a little, but I think anything that she might have displayed was feigned for the sake of getting through a particular situation. Did you?
I did not know you knew that word.
Feigned?
That's good. Nice.
Anyway, thanks, Chief. Did you read the book, the Battle for Azeroth, the book that came prior to that?
Yep.
So, like, and maybe, and this will lead to my next question, but see, for me, I don't connect my IRL morals with my morals in the game. Like, I am a blood elf, so they're magic hungry, they're arrogant, they don't give a shit about anybody else. And then obviously, because of the elf, there's that connection till Sylvanas. So, like, when I read that book, or I listened to the audiobook, because the audiobooks are always great, and all of her people are out, and this is a slight spoiler if no one's read the book and you care, but And then she just tells her guards, like, just kill them all. Like, I don't care. Kill them. Be done with this. And that way, because if I murder my own people, then nobody else will try and do this again. And it was a sacrifice for the greater good, because she couldn't afford to have people wanting to congregate with the Alliance. There's another one. You happy with that one too?
I like it. I mean, Feigned was more impressive.
I was just being a wise ass. But
Let me
anyway,
just back up for a second. Did you say that you, in real life, you don't relate to what you're talking about?
No. I do not connect my IRL morality to that of, like,
you don't connect to power-hungry asshole who doesn't care about anybody else.
Not as a leader, no. Like, I wouldn't want Sylvanas being the president of the country, but I'm okay with her being the leader of the Horde. Because I don't care if she murders pixels on a screen. I don't want her murdering actual children. Like, it's kind of like in GTA, right? Where you can just drive around.
I'm just trying to understand, though. For you personally, power-hungry asshole who doesn't care
I'm not
about
saying for
anybody
me
else.
personally, I'm saying as a leader.
He's trying to make fun of you.
I'm not saying I'm not a power-hungry asshole.
Wait. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I'm just trying to keep people honest.
Gotcha.
No, I'm a power-hungry asshole. That doesn't mean I want my leader to be a power-hungry asshole. But it's like, no, like in GTA, like you can drive around, run people over, murder people, pick up some prostitutes. I'm not going to drag my real life morality into GTA, right? But I do, especially with people who get invested into certain characters. Like I've seen people who make that connection, right? Where, and this was kind of my next question is, like, do you make that parallel to reality where, like, I've seen, like, you know, you saw it with Mist of Pandaria and post Pandaria, where people like, hey, look, with now it's gonna, what is his name, the one that went crazy, the orc, why can't I think of it?
Garrosh?
Yes, thank you. You know, and then after that, a certain person was elected, and people are like, oh, look, Blizzard did Trump before Trump because it was Garrosh, right? And now you've got Sylvanas almost kind of having similar, like, that dictator, it's my way, and that's it. And I've seen people, like, I've seen someone respond to that on a Facebook post, go, oh, you like Sylvanas? You must be a Trump supporter. Like, why do I have to have that connection from a virtual world to reality? Like, I can have empathy for people in real life and not have empathy for night elves. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Are you somebody who draws more of a parallel to, like, your real life personality and empathy to your characters in the game, or do you also, like, do you present that disconnect?
I think that
I think that the answer presents itself.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of that is, it's all in good fun. It can be a joke, like, you know, if you support Sylvanas, you're a Trump supporter or something like that. It's funny, you know? It doesn't mean anything, but I've always believed that in you know, immersion with World of Warcraft, it enhances the game. A lot of people, myself included, started playing WoW and continue to play WoW for a number of reasons that help out IRL, whether that be your life lacks routine, like mine did for a very long time. I had no routine. I didn't have anything that was driving me to do anything. I didn't have any validation in my life that was, you know, a daily thing. And so I could log into WoW, have a routine, do what I needed to do, you know, finish quests, get achievements, and feel validated and feel good about myself and have something to do. And it also provided me with a social life that I just didn't have. And now when I log into WoW, I'm still getting all those things. I don't need them as much IRL, but, you know, I've been using World of Warcraft as an escape and a way to feel better about myself and a way to have a social life for 15 years. And so immersion comes easily to me because it's just like, this is where I've been living, you know, like this is something that I care about. And so to me, you know, being a member of the Horde and loving my faction and being a loyalist, it's part of who I am now in real life. And so with my main, I'm not an alt person. I have alts, but I don't do anything with them. I'm just a main kind of girl. So I've been playing my mage since 2009, I think. And I've given her a backstory. She's got total backstory. She's got lore. She's got a personality. It's not too different from my own. But it was interesting because every expansion since I've been playing her, I've sort of thought about how she would be reacting to the things in the world, and she has loved being a champion of the horde, having her own garrison, saving the world time and time again, going to space, becoming an archmage in Legion, wielding legendary weapons. And at the beginning of BFA, she had taken off her transmog, her archmage transmog, and she had donned like an orc soldier's transmog, and she was ready to go in there and fight and burn down that tree and just be a member of the horde, because that's what you do as the horde. You fight the alliance, you follow your war chief. But then as these things were progressing, and as I've always looked to Sarfang as sort of a replacement for Thrall, because like I said, Thrall is hashtag my war chief. And I'm looking at him, and he's feeling the same way that I'm feeling IRL. Like, we're burning down this tree, and I'm like, yeah, awesome. I hate night elves because I really do. I can't stand them. And I hate the alliance. I really do. I can't stand it. And it's fun to hate those things because they don't actually matter. It is, like you said, pixels on a screen, doesn't matter. But with my immersion and with the way that I feel about myself in relation to World of Warcraft, like, this gave me pause. Like, this gave me actual real feels. And WoW has always given me feels, but this time it wasn't just like, awesome, this is cool. It was more like, why am I a member of the horde? Why do I love being the horde? What does it mean to be a member of the horde? If I'm not following my war chief, is this just another Garrosh situation? But Garrosh was clearly evil. Sylvanas is a good leader, but is she evil? She's lacking honor. Sarfang has honor, but now he's a traitor to the horde. But is he? Because he has the horde's best intention at heart, but so does Sylvanas. And like, where do I come in all this? And that's when Blizz was like, hey, here's a choose your own adventure. What are you going to do? And that was scary. It was weird. It was one of the best quests I've ever done, not because it was particularly exciting or challenging or anything like that, but just I'm sitting at my computer, not sweating or, like my stomach wasn't in knots or anything like that, but it really forced me to think about all of the things that I've just been, the horde symbol behind me, like, why is it there? And so I kind of forgot your question now, but
I don't think it matters. That was an amazing diatribe. So
yeah, I really
it really your escapism turns me on. I wish I had that. Had I had that kind of escapism 15 years ago, then I'd be as invested in the game, but I didn't.
Well, that's it. And like, that just comes full circle, like,
right. Well, 15 years ago, I was playing StarCraft. That's the game that introduced me to Blizzard. So
yeah, well, big brain, huh? Yeah, just keep flexing on us. That's fine.
Oh God,
he didn't say he was any good at StarCraft.
I'm gonna mute my mic now.
Yeah. So just to kind of keep it within the realm of time, because you have WoW stuff to do. I do want to get into the WoW Classic talk, because the beta came out for that. You and I were both there 14 years ago, and I mean, there are pros and cons, I suppose, but now, I mean, the people who knew what they were expecting, I guess they're relatively pleased. Like, they kind of got what they want. But then the people who were like more of the loud voice and not the ones that actually knew what they were asking for. Somebody else in the chat had brought up, and we kind of talked about it pre-show, but talked about this list of bug claims that has gone out that is the way the game is intended, but people weren't aware of what they were asking for. Are you excited for Classic? Are you planning on diving in and giving it a shot and being nostalgia about so long ago? Or
I got the beta today.
Okay.
I looked at the email. I considered it. I don't know. For me, I was angry at first because I never agreed with the private servers that were happening. To me, it felt, I mean, it was intellectual property stealing. I didn't like that. I knew a lot of people who loved Classic who would go and use those things all the time, and and they would have fun, and I wouldn't begrudge anybody, but to me, it felt wrong. And then I was glad when Blizzard stepped in with a legal team to have all that stuff shut down. But that's when, all of the really bad stuff started happening. Like, people were so, for lack of a better word, mean to Blizzard on social media. It was awful. And back then, like, I was trying to promote Blizzard positivity, and I got a lot of flack for that. I got a lot of people accusing me of, being paid by Blizzard to, counteract some of these things.
You like something I don't. You must be in
Yeah,
their
how
pocket,
dare you?
right?
But so then Blizz comes out with their whole vanilla ice cream spiel. I believe that was Jab at BlizzCon a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and
I did
people
like
were,
that. That was good.
yeah, that was exciting. And I felt conflicted about that too, because I hate when Blizzard has to sort of conform or compromise their vision or their plans just because people are very loud and obnoxious. I know a lot of people who are genuine, who love Blizzard and never said a toxic word about them, wanted Classic 2. I'm not discounting that, but the message was clear. Like, they wanted it, they wanted their private servers back, or they wanted Blizzard to give Classic back now or else, and so Blizzard gave that back to them, and everybody seemed really happy. And up until right now, people were super stoked on it. And I had to wonder, like, people who did play like we did in vanilla, it almost seemed like they forget just how fucking hard vanilla was, and how everything took a really long time to accomplish. And you absolutely had to love the game or have a lot of patience or a lot of friends playing with you to even keep playing at that point. Like, Blizzard knew that WoW was hard and needed a lot of changes, and they've continued with that trend for 15 years, and that's why World of Warcraft has been able to stay alive for so long. It's like the Beatles, they had a 10-year run. Every couple of years, they would switch up their sound, they would evolve, they would try something new, and that's what Blizzard does. Um, and that's what's been happening with WoW. And so I'm definitely not surprised that people are like, hey, this game's hard. Is this a bug? Like, I don't understand. It's because, yes, Classic wasn't that great of a game, honestly. It was innovative, it was beautiful, it was mind-blowing at the time. It was the best game of its kind. It still is.
Well, I think most importantly was it was better than EverQuest.
Yes.
And that's what people seem to forget. Because see, my MMO career, if you will, started in 95 with Ultima Online.
Oh my god.
And then I did Ultima from 95 to 99, and I played the shit out of that. And there's still things about Ultima that no other MMO has done that I still say Ultima did the best. Like, no level system, but it's all skill based.
Wow.
Like, I think that was great. But anyway, so then it was, 99 to 04, it was EverQuest with a mix of like Asheron's Call 1 and 2, Dark Age of Camelot, and I think City of Heroes was in there along with The Matrix Online, and like everyone went MMO crazy, right?
Yeah.
This is making you feel young or old?
Me? Young. I don't know. I was a kid when WoW came out, and I hadn't played any other MMOs. I really haven't played any other MMOs since, just because WoW has taken over my life, clearly. But yeah, I remember a time when there was like a huge thing of MMOs, and every new MMO was the WoW killer. But obviously that never happened.
Yeah, I remember when WildStar was supposed to be the WoW killer. That went well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because none of them. I mean, there's a couple that obviously Final Fantasy 14 is still pretty popular. ESO is apparently doing quite well now.
Yeah.
SWTOR is going on the
WoW.
No, SWTOR
is great too, but it's still not WoW.
Well, the thing about WoW,
SWTOR, it's not WoW.
The thing about you can say about ESO compared to SWTOR and Final Fantasy is that Final Fantasy and SWTOR, more so SWTOR, but they play like WoW. Like the Old Republic is WoW with lightsabers. There's nothing different about it. Final Fantasy VII adds a little bit of the Final Fantasy taste with the job system, but it still plays like WoW. Whereas Elder Scrolls, if you want an MMO experience that is a completely different experience and it's not the WoW formula, you can play ESO. Like World of Warcraft did for MMOs what Call of Duty did for shooters. And that basically uniformed them. So where like the majority of shooters that you pick up, if you play Call of Duty, you can play all the other ones for the most part. And it's the same with WoW. For the longest time, every MMO was a WoW clone. They
Yeah,
all
it's the
functioned the
standard.
same way. So if you were good at WoW, you could probably play any of the other MMOs out there.
Makes sense.
Which is perfectly great. But yeah, so but back to classic, but no, but that's the thing, right? Is people forget what it was like in 04. And gamers in 04, the ones that were playing MMOs, because MMOs weren't mainstream before WoW. MMOs were for those of us that had nothing outside of video games. So
Yep.
we would sit in a basement for like when EverQuest came out in 99, I was a freshman in high school. And that is what I would do. I would wake up, play EverQuest, go to school, and I remember specifically
You have literally existed in a basement the whole time I've known you.
I have.
It's
Now
true.
it's just my own basement.
Yeah,
But I
I
don't
had
know
one of those once. I miss it.
Hey, I'm sorry about your basement, man.
Hey, you know, it's
but
a hard death.
but yeah, so but WoW made MMOs mainstream and made them for more casual, because the MMO was always for the hardcore gamer who we finished our single player games too quickly. So the MMO was the RPG that never ended, right? And that was for those of
Right.
us that could know life at 16 hours a day. And now you can still do that. And Blizzard does a fairly good job of making sure the content is there, whether it's content for you personally or not. But I mean, you could spend 16 hours a day on pet battles.
Yes.
You could, I mean,
Easily.
exactly. I mean, it's Pokemon, it's Wowkemon. But so that's there. The content's there. It's just there in different ways. And it's a different world in that there are significantly more casual gamers than hardcore gamers now.
Mhm.
And people don't want, I mentioned League because of the toxicity, but like I rarely will play a game of Heroes because I don't want something to lock me at my computer for a half hour. Not saying that I'm not going to sit at my computer for hours, but I want the option to get up.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I think it comes down to the majority of the WoW playing population is aging. You know, we're not old or anything, but a lot of us have been playing for 10 plus years. And
Right.
it's exactly what you said. Like, we used to have a lot of time to devote to WoW. Now we probably don't, for a lot of reasons. You know, kids, job, just being an adult, you know, versus a kid or a teenager. And I think that sort of phenomenon is why classic has come back in the first place, because, you know, as you can see, our society today is hungry for nostalgia. Like, it sucks because, like, we want things that we liked back then because they made us feel good back then, and thinking about the way we were back then is nice usually, you know? Like, it was nice sitting in your mom's basement because you literally didn't have to do anything except go to school and then come home and play video games. And so when something is, you know, when Star Wars is coming back and when classic is coming back, you want it because some people don't realize that they just want it because they want to feel the way they used to feel when their life was better when they were younger. And
It's like
so, you know,
listening to that old
you get,
song.
yeah.
It's like
So
a
you
song from your high school years. That's what it is.
pretty much. So you get your Star Wars and you get your classic WoW, and, you know, Star Wars, if it fan services too much, that's a problem. But like, Star Wars will never be the way it used to be because it can't be. You know, it was the way it was back then because that's how it was back then. And classic, it can come back exactly like it used to be, but it's not going to make you feel better. You
Yeah,
know,
there's
it's
no
just
recapturing moments. You
exactly.
can't do it.
It's just going to be the hard game that you liked before you knew that WoW could be a lot easier and a lot more engaging and have a lot more things to
Right.
do.
They're selling it to you based on you having a feeling that you had 15 years ago.
Exactly. And that's why classic is here in the first place. Blizz was not planning to do this at all. This was not a thing ever that they were going to do.
I
But
wonder what their possible intentions for the pipeline in the future are. Like, are we just getting 1.14?
actually, I'm not sure. I know that we're getting up to.
I think.
I
Well, I
don't
mean, like
remember.
I think 1.14 is where it's at right now. I think that's where it's launching at when it officially launches in August.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
I don't know if I don't know if they're going to give us all of vanilla. Like, are we getting up to Nax?
I don't know.
and
I know
yeah.
that they're releasing content in waves. The first sort of season, I guess if you want to call it that, is coming in 6 waves. So like 6 different updates are coming, and it's I can't really call it an update because it's just stuff
Right.
that's already happened.
And
But
I'll say in
that's
14 years is WoW Classic going to be on Battle for Azeroth, and we're going to have to have WoW Classic Classic. Like, are we
yeah. I
doing
mean,
this
that's
again in 28 years?
I would put money on them releasing updates up until Wrath concludes, because people are so in love with Wrath.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to want that. I feel like the end of Wrath, maybe like that was 2010-ish.
Yeah, I think Kata was
Yeah,
2010.
about
Yeah.
there, that's when it should stop. And just, be its own game. But I don't know.
I
Like,
agree with that.
Yeah, but like, who's to say at this point? This is all very unprecedented and weird. But I
Well,
feel like I've been talking super negatively about it, but there are people that are just so happy about this, and they are enjoying beta, and they're looking forward to it going live. And I've been looking at my job requires me like following trends on Twitch, and Classic has been dominating Twitch lately, absolutely killing it. And like, who could have saw that coming? Like the most popular game on Twitch right now is Classic WoW beta. Like like Shroud was on all what's it called, Allcast last night, talking about Classic WoW. Like, he's one of the most popular streamers in the world right now, and he was talking about Classic WoW. Like, everybody is excited about it. And regardless of how I felt about Classic coming out and how I feel about it now, like, I'm just so happy for Blizzard, because they need a win like this, like, they need people to be happy, and people should be happy because Blizzard has literally given them what they wanted.
Right.
Blizz didn't want this. This is completely like community like focused. This is what people wanted. Blizz delivered. There you go. Be happy. Have it.
They gave you your cake. Shut up.
And scene.
And scene, right. So, I mean, I think that just about sums it all up. Yeah, I don't think you could have said any better. It's there. We know why it's there, but there are people that are happy it's there, and as long as they're happy, and it doesn't seem to have taken development time from Battle for Azeroth. Like, it's not like they delayed the next expansion for 12 months to work on this. So
Exactly.
it doesn't hurt anybody by its being there. The fact that they're doing it at no extra cost is great. Like, if you have, I mean, if anything, it's a way to fluff their numbers back up, because I bet there are people who will resubscribe to get into Classic. Yeah. So I think it's a win for everybody. I found that article with people complaining about features being bugs. That was great. It's like, yeah, you didn't know what you were asking for. But it's yeah. So the one Blizzard property that we haven't talked about, none of us have mentioned yet, is Diablo. Do you play Diablo at all, or is anybody in your social circle a Diabloite?
Well, sure. Absolutely. I haven't seriously played Diablo in a while. Like, I've got it on Switch. So I recently moved closer to my work, so my commute's been Switchless, but I was enjoying it on Switch. I love Diablo. It's so good to just fire up Diablo, go in, kill a bunch of dudes, get a bunch of loot, feel good about yourself, and then turn off the game. It's just like, yeah, I did that. All right, now I can finish with my day. I feel
and
good
it translates very well on the Switch.
Oh,
I was surprised at how well it ran, not even on dock, but like mobile.
I know, right?
It's an impressive experience.
Oh, so good. I love just like sitting like on a train or something, playing a Blizzard game, not even a mobile game, but like an actual Blizz game.
Right.
And just, being out in the world. It's very strange.
To that point, you live in New York, right?
Yep.
So do you drive, or do you just commute via trains? Whatever.
Trains. There's no point in driving.
No, I realize that. It's so foreign to Nate and I. Like, there's a sense of pride in driving, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So if either of us commuted by a bus, which is totally doable here, where we live, it's very bicycle friendly too.
Oh, good. You guys cycle? You got like rock hard muscles?
One of us does, and it's not Nate.
I've got my dad bod.
it's so foreign to me to like be able to like commute to work on a train and game on your way to work, and that's totally cool. Like here, I think Nate would agree that there's a social stigma to taking a bus, commuting in
Yeah.
something
Really?
outside of your own vehicle.
Oh, here, yeah, no. As far as specifically to Maine, I don't know how it is for people who live in town Portland. But as far as like, yeah, there was always
Right, but keep in mind that downtown Portland is still not big enough to. You can walk anywhere. You don't
yeah,
need
there's what, like one bus that covers the entirety of the city. What is it?
That's
Bus
because
one
there's
that covers
literally
the
you
city.
can take Congress Street and cover the entire city.
Go from one side of the city to the other. Yeah.
Right. It's that one thick vein through the
Right,
shaft.
right. Yeah, it's a very pencil-like city. It's long but thin.
Yeah, as long as you know how to use
But yeah,
it,
no,
it's
there
fine.
is definitely a stigma that comes with public transportation up here. I think Uber has kind of changed that a little bit. But whether you are riding a bus or taking a taxi, and we don't have city trains, like we have a train that will take you from Portland like to other
Boston.
small towns and then Boston. But there is no subway. And there's like, again, the train that leaves the state eventually. That's all. There's no what, huh?
Huh?
Oh, he's talking to somebody else apparently. Because I saw his lips moving. I'm like, your mic's muted. But yeah, so it's interesting up here. I mean, having friends down in the Boston area, like, you know, like it becomes commonplace down there. Like to get from one side of the city to the other, you have to take a subway.
Sure.
So, and I've been to New York a couple times. We were actually down there. We drove through it a couple years ago, going down to Jersey. We went down to MetLife for a concert.
That's fun. What'd you see?
It was Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold,
Ooh.
and Volbeat.
Oh, I love Volbeat. And old
Volbeat is
Metallica.
amazing.
Volbeat.
I'm an Avenged guy. That was the big motivation for the job.
I was there for Volbeat and Metallica.
Metallica was an amazing show. And as much as I love Avenged, they cannot play live, especially in cold weather. They are definitely Southern California boys. They cannot perform in cold weather.
I
Hey
get
kids,
that.
so you know what's fun? Is saying what did I say a second ago? The main vein in the shaft of the city. So when you all of a sudden don't have your own house anymore and you live at home and your mother comes downstairs, that's a weird thing to have to explain.
Hey, Mom.
Out of context.
There's veins all over the body. You could argue that, you know.
What are you doing down here? It's great. That's all.
I mean, limbs are like shafts too. And if your shaft is like your limb, I mean, that's great.
Thanks.
Then you have to think your mom.
Then you should be in movies.
I tried.
What is Beatmaster saying? Megadeth or GTFO? Get out of here, old man.
Hey, Megadeth's good too.
I mean, it's Metallica for the impoverished.
I would say
I shouldn't even say that. I like Metallica. I like both. I don't know why I'm even shitting on it.
Yeah,
I like
both. And I mean, both frontmen are assholes. So.
Well, I mean, Dave Mustaine is from Metallica. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Mechanics and what is that song? It's the exact same song as some Metallica song that he wrote.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I feel like most frontmen have to at least come off as an asshole because you have to be a little bit arrogant to be a frontman.
Well, it's like replacing fuck with cunt, right? You need the shock value.
Exactly.
There, I have
is your mom around for that? Is your mom around for that one?
I don't know what you said, so I'll laugh like
I said, is your mom around for that? Was your mom around for that one?
No.
It's a shame she didn't overhear that one.
Definitely not.
So yeah, we'll get ready to start wrapping up here shortly. That way you can make your play schedule. But
you're ready for the 20-minute outro?
Oh yeah, give it. Let's do this.
It's not that long.
1 minute at a time, slowly.
I shouldn't do that. It shows my bald spot. Well, no, I was just curious. So outside of like the Blizzardverse, right? Like where, like, do you have gaming habits outside of Blizzard games? Like what is the rest of the pie chart of your gamer focus?
I don't have time to play other games. I work in the gaming industry, so I have to pay attention to a lot of other games, but I just don't have time. I said I raid 8 hours a week. That's 3 nights a week. That's a lot of raiding. And if I'm not playing WoW, I'm trying to play Overwatch because I'm really good at it, and I feel like I'd be a lot better at it if I had more time. I used to, but now I don't.
Right.
But yeah, no, I got the Switch only because Diablo came out on it. So But yeah, no, it sucks. Like I'm such a huge gamer, but I really only play 2 games regularly. So I don't know what that says about me.
Well, it still says you're a huge gamer. I mean, quality over quantity.
Sure. I mean,
I
I'll take
mean,
that.
I have a really bad
Just a
habit.
huge gamer, just very specific.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I have a really bad habit of like I'm always jumping to the next big thing. Like I am very flavor of the week with my video games, especially with a new AAA title coming out every other week. You know, and one of my friends gets it, so I'm like, oh, I'll get it too. We'll play, and then we both play for
Yeah,
a week.
not only that, you'll get it 2 or 3 times on 2 or 3
Yeah,
different
like Division
platforms.
2, which I now have the
Hey, I
$120
put 160
version
hours
for.
into Division, but I'm gonna buy it on Xbox now and start again.
It was 130 hours.
All right, well,
Not
I'm sorry I was
160.
off by a day.
But now
Wow.
with like the 35 hours I've got on the Xbox version, it's probably closer to 160. The game's good. What can I say?
It is
So-
good. It gets
so
more
that's-
fun the more you play.
So that's my last question, and then we'll close it out because this is always a fun question for WoW players that especially have been around for a while. What is your largest slash played?
Oh, I just did that the other day. I think it was my main right now is 8 months and a bit. So I've played her for 8 months since 2010, I guess. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I try not to do that too often. I mean, I don't regret any time I've ever spent. in
Right,
WoW,
right. No,
you
well,
know,
no,
'cause-
it's yeah. No, I get
but
it.
it's crazy to think about just how much I've been working on this mage. But you know, I'm a good player. I've tried to make this whole like WoW community thing work for me, and I think that it has. And I've honestly met my best friends in game, and I wouldn't trade anything. So yeah, 8 months well spent.
Yeah, with the exception of Brandon, the majority of the people that I talked to, I met podcasting or gaming. So I
Mhm.
definitely
We're
get
good people.
that. And actually, podcasting is what brought Brandon and I back together. So
Oh, that's
it's
sweet.
still it's kind of there's an asterisk there.
You guys are so cute.
It's a good thing we're not in the same room, huh? That's how we started this. was
That's
pod-
how it used to be. Yeah,
Yeah,
bitch and
but
butch. in
now
the
he's just
same
on a
room.
pixelated Google thing.
Do you
No,
miss each other now?
my paladin.
Oh, we're only
My-
a mile away right now, so it's fine.
Oh, I'm sure it feels like so far away.
Nate, which one of us is gonna wear the choker next week? That's what I want to know.
Can you film it?
Film
That's
what?
it.
Are you gonna distribute it or
No, no, it's just for
Coffee.
me in my special time.
No,
I
but
will
this
make
whole
sure
time,
I
and
see
I
you.
am
Thank you.
not gonna say anything. But this whole once I noticed the choker,
What are
all I can
you
think of is free
alluding
beer
to
and hot.
right now?
All I can think of is free beer and hot wings.
The black belt?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
We'll
But
tell you.
That's you and I can talk about that shit later. We don't.
No,
need to
well,
talk
well
about
no,
that
I'll
now.
mention it out of the. I'll mention it out of the podcast if she's curious as to what we're talking about. But
I
She's
don't know
not
if I am.
curious. She's not. Let's just
probably not.
Let's
But
move
anyway,
it along. What do we?
But
at,
anyway,
10
yeah.
minutes
So
in?
no, I think
5
my,
minutes. That's
my-
5 minutes of you trying to outro right now.
I'm not outroing. We're having a WoW slash played. I'm sorry, yours is like 13 hours.
I didn't work today.
No, I meant slash played on your character, like your total accumulated playtime. So
Oh,
yeah,
no,
so
I've
I
got way more
think
time
my
than that.
I think
Got
my
years on that mage.
the last I checked my paladin, it was like just shy of a year, but she's existed since Burning Crusade, so that was February of 08.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, almost a year accumulated of playtime over the course of 11 years isn't bad.
No, it's
I
great.
mean, that's just one character.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
not on my other ones. But yeah, no, well, yeah, I think that's our lack of our complete dedication to WoW, I guess I should say, is a good place to end that on. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. Do you want to give one more quick rundown of the shows you do for those that weren't here at the top?
Sure. I do a show called Lagging Balls. You can find it at Lagging Balls. You can just type in Lagging Balls into Google and avoid the image search part, but everything else should be very relevant. You can find me on Twitter at Thyst03. I'm also on Convert to Raid every Tuesday. You can find that at Convert to Raid at Convert to Raid. I do a lot of other stuff, but you know, mostly those things.
Very cool.
Thanks.
So check out her shows and do you stream your WoW?
Not usually. We don't stream Raid because of the things that we say during Raid.
That's the
There's a
reason
lot
to
of
stream.
TOS involved, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that. Yeah, I had a
Mhm.
couple people that I used to game with that I had to like, hey, I'm streaming. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Unironically, they were also from New York.
Yeah. I'm not a real New Yorker. I'm actually very foreign.
Hey, what's up, Harold? How's it going? But yeah, so again, thank you very much for coming on. Brandon, we know where we can find you. You're here.
Hi.
Right? Has anything changed?
Do I need to speak right now? No, nothing's
I
changed.
asked you a question. I don't know. It's not like I talk
Yes,
to you
you
every
do
day.
know, but yes, you do.
You've talked a
I
lot
don't
this
exist
episode.
5 days a week, and then 2 days a week I'm hanging out with you. So what?
Aw.
That's
what's
true.
what?
You did say yesterday in reference to last weekend.
I know, because that's the life of a truck driver. You disappear for 5 days and then you come back.
Yeah, apparently. So a big thank you to our live chat room. You guys are great tonight. Everyone was really active. Harold, thank you for popping in there at the last minute. I do appreciate it. But yeah, you can check us out live on Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Any live stream platform of your choice. Just search for Inked Geek Studios. And again, don't forget to check out Thyst and Lagging Balls and Convert to Raid. And I think that will do it. I know Justin's on next week. I was trying to subtly look up the name of his podcast really quick so I could give it a plug. BJ's Geek Nation. So Rev/Justin from BJ's Geek Nation will be on next week. So tune in for that live. Anyway, Thyst, thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
For Thyst, for Brandon, for myself, and for the rest of Inked Geek Studios, thank you all very much for listening. And we will see you guys. I'm trying to find my soundboard next week.
You've been listening to an Inked Geek Studios podcast. For this and other great shows, go to inkedgeekstudios.com.
Yeah, I definitely like that at the end.
I'm glad you remembered, though. I wondered if
I
that
did.
was going to happen or not.
That was like the most convoluted outro I've done in a long time. I don't know why that felt so squished. I think it's because you keep giving me shit about my long outros, so I'm trying to just spit
Well,
them
because
out.
if I don't say anything, it's going to be 45 minutes.
No,
of you
I
being
am
like,
tapping
we're
my
gonna get
phone.
ready to
I
wrap
was
up the
making
show, but
I was making sure that we were cutting her loose by 10:30.
well,
She
good
said
job.
an hour and a
It
half
only took
max.
you- It only took you 19 minutes to end the show. That's nice.
Because you kept interrupting.
Fuck off! I didn't fucking interrupt shit,
You
guys.
guys are so sweet. I love this.
I do
basically a
like.
show for you.
I do. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what we do. We've had one episode where somebody in chat was like, "Mommy and Daddy are fighting again."
It seems like that, yes.
That was probably a Corey, you know.
Probably, yeah. But anyway, again, I appreciate you coming on. By all means, if you want to dip out and get ready to set up for your. You said you guys were running keys tonight, right?
Yes. Very excited.
Nice. Though that is always fun to do. What are the stipulations this week? Do you know offhand? Have you
What are
looked
the
yet?
affixes? I have no idea. I haven't run anything yet this week, so I really don't know. I don't care. I'm not afraid of affixes. They can, well, except for explosive. That's kind of hard to deal with, and reaping's kind of crazy. But everything else.
What
that's
about the
fine.
blood one?
Oh, you know what? All affixes are terrible. Never mind. I was just trying to sound brave.
I remember the blood one being a pain in the ass on Siege of Borealis the first couple times we tried.
They're
to do
all
it.
just truly very annoying.
Yeah,
But it's
they are.
fine.
They are
It's
indeed.
forces you to pay attention.
Yeah, and then when you're a tank, of course, you just get mad at everybody else for fucking up.
Yeah, but that's kind of the standard with tanking.
It is. We rule the show. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
Or at least we think we do, right?
I mean, yeah, it's actually just the healer. The healer holds all the power. They could just stop healing you, and then there would be no dungeon. Everybody would be dead.
I single man tanked the final boss on Mythic. I think it was just Mythic 0, but what was the goblin one?
Fucking Motherload.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a pug group,
Motherload.
and it was a pug group, and I was just trying to get a run done. I don't remember exactly why, and everybody fucking died to those rockets, and it was me. Everyone was dead, and I'm like, I am not doing this. So I popped all my cooldowns and pally tank for the win.
Hey man, good for you.
That's
You'll
why I
love to see it.
What's that?
You'll love to see it.
The paladin tank is great. I'll be back in the
Why
next.
didn't you do
expansion
the whole
pack.
show in that accent?
What?
Oh, it's not a real accent. Yeah, I'm actually
I-
Canadian, right? So.
Yeah, but like, just do the faux accent. It's fine.
Oh God, I've been trying not to do it. I've been doing it like crazy lately. It's just that's all I hear all day,
What a world.
isn't it? But yeah, thank you so much for asking me. This was really cool. Thanks for giving me a chance to talk about WoW because that's what I like to do.
Yeah, come back.
Sure, just ask me. I mean, I'm usually
Awesome.
busy, but if you give me enough notice, make it happen.
Cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, have a great rest of the weekend and good luck with your roofs. A roof, one roof. Good luck with the roof.
No worries. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Okay,
See ya.
good night, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Good times.
That's weird. Normally we have you dip out before the guest dips out. But how's the chat room? Sorry there wasn't a whole lot of chat interaction tonight. The conversation
No,
was pretty.
I was there.
Well, were you typing? It's
Yeah,
so
you just don't have me
small.
as an admin, so nobody realizes. But
I don't. I can
No.
change that. I can
No, you
change
don't.
that. I saw a bunch of regulars, saw a bunch of new faces. Probably, I see
I'm pretty
somebody
sure
with
that
CTR
most
in
of
there.
the chat room is me talking. Actually, now that I look at it.
Well, no, I'm seeing all the different faces. Like I think Winchester.
Oh yeah, they're
is...
there. There's people
Yeah.
there, but I mean, it's riddled with my responses.
Oh, probably. Sounds about right.
I downloaded Duet before the show.
Harold, Harold repping
The dual
Canadian
screen
flag.
thing with the iPad. It's great.
Isn't it nice?
It's nice. Yeah. What's
Didn't
not
Nate
as
say
nice
he would
is
change
the
that 2 weeks ago? Didn't I say I
fucking-
would change what? Beatmaster, do you want to be our producer? What did I say I was going to change?
I'm just not seeing it. Oh yeah, totally. There's way more there that I totally didn't see.
I was going to say, I've been scrolling up in the chat and like you haven't said anything in a while.
Well, it's funny because my chat stopped updating way back at
Here, I can turn that off.
the
That way you guys can see us.
escapism and cuntist comment. That's where my chat stopped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't
Wow.
see any of the rest.
Yeah,
of
there
it.
was a whole bunch of shit going on since then.
Yeah, that's super irritating. That sucks.
That didn't feel like an hour and a half at all.
No, it didn't.
I
It was
like it
fun.
when a guest is good conversation. The shows fly right by.
Yeah, when they have their own pulpit to stand on and can just
Hey, Winchester, thank you for the follow. I
bloviate
appreciate
for a
it.
while. It's good.
I do appreciate it. If you guys like your WoW talk, I am in the process. I have 2 seasons left, so this is technically season 6, episode 6. This show started back in December of 2015. So anybody who, if you're just tuning in now for the first time, coming over from either Lagging Balls or Convert to Raid, and you liked what you heard, and you want to check out the old stuff, Mind of a Geek on any of the podcatchers. Do they still call them that? What do the kids call them now? Podcast apps. I'm so old.
Did Beatmaster just laugh at the idea of me being an admin? That hurts.
I think so.
It hurts me.
But yeah, we had
It doesn't
there's
really,
a
I
whole
don't give
bunch
a
of
fuck
WoW
one way or
talk,
the other.
and also if you are familiar with Songhammer, who's done several songs for Blizzard, and they played live at BlizzCon for the 10-year anniversary. We had one of their frontmen on. I don't think that's up on the feed yet, though. That I believe is part of season 4, which will be going
That's
up.
a ways back.
Yeah, I believe it's part of season 4, which will be going up this week. I'll get it on the feed. But if you want to subscribe and check it out, that would be awesome. I appreciate you guys stopping over, even if it was just for Thyst. If it was just for Thyst, we completely understand.
Administrate us? No, you're not worthy
There you
of it
go.
now.
There you go, Brent. Administrate. Harold, we got to get you back on, bud. And I appreciate you stopping in. I know it is. What is it like? It's like 10. It's like 10:30 in the morning on Sunday for you. You're in the future, dude. But yeah, we got to get you on at some point in time. Did you guys see John Wick 3? You mean John
No, not
Wick
yet.
1 and John Wick 2? And like they're all the same movie. No, we actually mentioned it today, but
Yeah, I actually went to see Avengers for the 3rd time this afternoon after I left your house.
really?
Yeah,
Why?
it's a good movie.
It is, but I mean, we don't need to give it any more money. It beat Avatar. It's over.
I had a gift card.
Oh, there you go. Ooh, Milwaukee. Also, thank you for the follow. I'm not getting any notifications because I don't have them set up for the stream, but like people like the tweet bot that says so and so is your newest follower on Twitch. So I'm probably thanking you in a delayed fashion, but it is what it is. Wick would kick Thanos' ass. I've heard mixed reviews.
Have you never seen a John Wick movie?
Me?
You?
No, I've seen one.
There ain't nobody else here, bro.
I've seen like one and a
Drama.
half.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one. I have it. I have not watched it yet, though.
Like, I don't get that. I don't know. Like the big thing with John Wick, right? Somebody killed his dog. So he goes
in the
ape
beginning,
shit
yeah.
because somebody kills his dog. Like that's the whole thing. Like it's a dude pissed off about his dog.
That's not really the whole thing. That's just an added bonus to make him mad.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Keanu's a great actor, and he's great in that role. And I'm interested to see the dynamic between him and Halle Berry in this one.
Yeah, so like his wife dies, so he has a dog because they got a puppy right before she died, if I remember correctly. So they kill the dog, and it's, you know, the proverbial last straw.
Right.
Then he goes and gets his bullet.
Oh, that's right.
Nice
That's
suit
right.
And kills people.
Yeah, that's right. So if you guys aren't regulars and you are chiming in, like obviously I mute for vaping and coughing during the post show, during the show, but we don't care about the post show. This is just
Who is Harold
to the floor
plays?
stuff.
You keep
Harold is
referencing him.
Harold
Who the fuck is Harold?
from fuck, you put me on the spot. We just talked about this.
You don't even know.
I do know. Harold, tell me the name of your podcast without me forgetting the name of your podcast. Fuck.
Nah, but yeah, I got it.
Quit stalling. Harold from Quit Stalling.
Oh yeah, I follow that shit.
Yes, you do. He's been on the show.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he has. He's the very
dude. All I care about are Corey's on the show. It doesn't
he's the
matter.
very
Anybody
he was
else?
the very
Yeah.
suave sounding Asian.
I do remember that.
Remember the big boisterous laugh?
Yeah, you
And
want
we
to talk about black belts now?
And we made a no, we don't. And we made a bunch of racist Asian jokes because he was on here, so he was like our Asian friend.
Yeah, I remember. It's terrible.
No, we don't need to talk about chokers.
You sure?
Yes, I'm 100% positive.
All right.
See, you hurt his feelings.
Yeah,
Now
I
he's not gonna
see
come
it.
back.
I see it, dude. I was feigning ignorance. I know. I was impressed that you said that, by the way,
Why?
because I didn't know that you knew that word.
Of course I did. You know why I used it, right?
Tell me.
Because we were talking about classic WoW.
And
Hunter. My Hunter was my first class. Feign death. See, it was all little subtle hints.
touche.
That actually wasn't on purpose.
Okay, good. I was
I'm
going
not-
with you. You
I'm
could
not.
have just.
I'm not.
With it.
I'm not that. I'm not that good.
Do you remember when we used to do podcasts where it was just the two of us and no guests?
That was weird. I mean, it's kind of what we're doing now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, the good old days.
Who wants that? Say in the chat room if you want that.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
Just you and me. That's it. Nobody else gives a fuck.
No, but I was
Maybe
going
Corey.
through because I re-added all the Nate's word of the day is toilet paper. What?
How so?
I don't know. That's what Corey said. Why is that my word of the day?
We'll wait. Delay.
What is Corey playing? Corey is playing. Oh, if you guys want to check out some Twilight Princess gameplay, Mr. Corey Eldridge is streaming on Twitch. He will be on June 1st. I'm excited for June 1st.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm excited that I won't be working, so I'll have the temerity to continue.
All right, these are the people I know. You know Johnny D. Nato, right? We know
Yeah.
Johnny D, right? The
Yeah,
other
I do.
ginger that I know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is his Facebook post. Seeking 4 female servers and 1 female bartender for an 8-hour yacht party. DM for details.
How is it that guy can make that post? How
Because-
is that the life? that we
Because
live
he
in?
just won like $8,000 at the Bangor Casino or the Oxford Casino.
Really.
Yeah, dude, you should follow him on
So
Instagram.
he's gonna take that $8,000 and have a yacht party.
Oh, it's more than that. He doesn't walk out of that. He goes to that casino every weekend, and you should see his Instagram stories. He does not walk out winning less than $1,500 every weekend.
So
I
he
don't know
doesn't
how.
work or
No, he works.
I would stop working and maybe spend my time focusing that money toward more not working.
Corey says if it means I get more Nate and Brandon. Corey, we were supposed to talk about STFU, and we had that conversation after the show went off the air the last time you were on, and nothing has been discussed.
I like the idea of contest. I think that's funny. We should do that. You can asterisk out, the actual word, but none of this shut the fuck up shit. We'll just
STFU and do STFU.
When's that gonna happen?
I don't know. Corey hasn't talked about it. Hold on a second. I'm not ending anything, but I am gonna put the splash screen up for a second.
It's already up, isn't it?
No, I took it down so people could see us, but I don't need this to be on Twitch.
What?
That.
Nobody knows the difference from what you've been doing the whole time to that.
It's a completely different device.
The uninitiated don't know the difference.
Fair enough. Other time Brandon no shirt. I don't remember when. Hold on a second. Do you mean the time when Brandon no-showed or the other time when Brandon no-showed? Or how about that time when Brandon no-showed?
I'm pretty sure I've been consistent for years. What?
You
no-showed at the round table.
Of our 4 episodes of STFU, you made one. But that was on a Tuesday night, and that was when they started fucking you on your Wednesdays.
Don't schedule that shit on a Tuesday night.
We did it for you because you had Wednesdays off.
I have Tuesdays off now.
Well, I ain't fucking doing it Monday night. And we can't do it Tuesday night because AEW is starting on Tuesdays.
So now the splash screen is gone and we're back to...
People can see us.
Yeah. Why?
Because we're having a conversation.
Yeah, but
and
I'm so
because
ugly.
People are chatting with us. Brandon was still in HR.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Getting the sense that I'm not very well loved.
You are immensely loved. Are you coming over here to game?
I can.
I was just asking.
I will. What time is it? 10:30? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come over.
Cool. I'm just gonna right before we started the podcast.
I'm gonna dive back into
which one? Division?
Yeah. No.
Wildlands?
I remember what I said earlier, so I
Diablo?
No.
Division. Oh. I haven't seen him type. I doubt he's here.
No, I think he's mad at me. I got a text 10 minutes ago, now that I look at my phone. Really, guy? Yeah.
It's not even multiplayer.
What?
It's not even multiplayer.
What? Dark Souls?
Dark Souls.
You got a portal in, right?
Oh, I don't know. It's not my thing. What have we
Loved
got going on? Brandon was still in HR, but it was the perfect one. Super Seducer 2. Loved until you forget. You feel loved until you forget who you're loved by.
I haven't forgotten.
Brandon is loved by most.
No. A few.
A handful. Not many.
But no. I'll if you want to chill for a little bit, I'll come over.
I'm gonna play some Division. What I was saying was before the podcast, Arthur brought me into World Tier 5 and got my eye level up. So my eye level went from like 250 to 470.
On PC or
no. It's 500 on PC on Xbox. So on Xbox, yeah. So I just got to go get myself the World Tier 5. So that's my thing. Yep.
Wow. All right.
Why?
I don't know. I'll be over in a minute.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you guys for hanging out. So so as I said, it is Justin. He goes by Rev on Twitter. He is a radio DJ and he is one of the hosts of BJ's Geek Nation. It is also a really cool podcast. So if you guys have some space in your podcast queues, check out BJ's Geek Nation. It is basically the sister podcast to a radio show. And it's good stuff and it's a lot of fun. But I would love to at least do the 7 Deadly Sins episode, we promised. I would love to bring the show back. So
For at least 7 episodes, right?
Yeah, one sin each episode. That would be cool. Yeah, but that I don't like shows that already have like a pre-scheduled ending.
You don't have to tell them that.
We can come up with sins afterwards.
We can do like those videos you were showing me the other night with the random numbers.
Oh, the king of random.
Yeah. Just be enigmatic about it. You can tell I've been drinking because now I really can't talk. Enigmatic.
I believe so.
Sure.
Surely. All right, I'll sign off. You come game. Yeah, Corey, we'll talk because I would love to get that going. I'm excited to be podcasting again. This is what 6 weeks in a row.
Sure.
Yeah. What's the show title? Is it a little bit of Thyst, a little bit of that?
Yeah.
Or is it
have up there?
No, or is it going to be I jitsued everywhere?
You should just have girls who wear chokers have black belts in. ...
That's disrespectful.
That's terrible.
That's terrible. That's terrible right there.
That's terrible.
All right. Good night, Twitch and Mixer and Facebook and everybody else. We'll see you guys next week.